In today's video, we're checking out the Hughes Kettner Tubemeister Deluxe 40. This is a 3-channel amplifier. We've got a clean channel over here, a crunch channel, and a lead channel. We also get a really great direct output on the back that goes into a sound card or PA system to get you really great cab emulated tones with ease, and you can also use that for recording. Firstly, a massive thanks to Sky Music for the loan of this. I don't get to keep it, nor are they paying me to make this video, so all thoughts about this will be my own. You're going to hear it in the context of a backing track first, mic'd up with a Shure SM57 and a Sennheiser E906, and then I'll show the isolated tones. Everything will be timestamped in the description below, so you can skip ahead, back or forth if you so choose. Let's get into it. Here's the amp up close. I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of how this works. We get a clean channel, a crunch channel, and a lead channel. Each of them have their own master volume controls and also gain controls. So you can turn up the gain to your particular setting and then switch between them to get the tone that you need on the fly, which is great. We get this Perspex cover right here, which is both a pro and a con. It looks beautiful until the dust sets in and then it covers it up. So you'll have to clean it out every now and then, but overall, it looks great being able to see the valves. While this amp does have 3 channels, it only gives you 2 3-band EQs, but that's fine. Otherwise, the amp would be far too long and there'd be far too many controls. So we get an EQ control here for the clean channel, and we get this EQ over here for the lead and crunch channels. When it comes to the output tubes, we get a series of EL84s, which is kind of similar to a Vox or something like a Blues Junior, for example, if you're coming from another amplifier brand. We also get a couple of 12 AX7s in there. On the back of the amplifier, we have just about everything we could need for either studio work or for playing out live, one of which is the power soak over here, also known as a power attenuator. So this is rated at 40 watts, but you can turn it down to 25, 1, and off, so you can turn the speaker off completely. Now the benefit of turning the speaker off completely is we get an XLR out over here by Redbox. This allows it to go into a sound card or PA system and get you a really great emulated speaker cabinet sound that sounds great on the recording, and I'll showcase that in the video. What I'm not going to do is go through the power soak. From my experience, it just worked well, and it does drop the volume, but the recording sounded identical. So I'm I'm not going to showcase this. I'm just going to leave the amp on 20 watts the entire video. On this side of the head, we get an effects loop, which I'll be using with a delay pedal. We can turn that on and off by pushing this button over here. We also get the ability to use a foot switch with this, so we can select the different channels. All right, let's kick it off. In today's video, I've got the cabinet mic'd up with a Shure SM57 and a Sennheiser E906 right up against the grill. We're going to work our way backwards with this amplifier, starting with the lead channel, then the crunch channel, and then the clean tone. So I've got the gain set to 12 o'clock. I've got the master volume set to 12 o'clock. The bass and mids are mostly cranked, and the treble is most of the way down. Now, it's a very bright amplifier, and I'll talk more about that later. We're going to start on the neck pickup. Here we go. It's got that real modern sound, so it's very sizzly on the top end and quite scooped, even though the mids is actually most of the way up, which is a really strange thing. It doesn't have that big throw of that mid frequency sound, so very different to what I'm used to, but I'm sure folks will get into that. Let's crank up the gain just a little bit more. We're also going to change the mids now. I'm going to bring it down, and this will also interact with the treble control. So if I bring the treble control up to about 12 o'clock, it's going to sound very different to how it just sounded before. Here we go. Definitely has a real squishy feel to it under the fingers. Pretty cool. And now let's go over to the crunch channel of the amplifier, which is my personal favorite for the kind of stuff that I like to play. I've got the gain set to about 1 o'clock and the master is down at 11. Here we go. Huge sound on the bridge, over to neck. All right, let's crank up the gain a little bit more to about 3 o'clock. I'll just do this on bridge pickup, and I'm also going to add a little bit of delay into the effects loop now. Here we go. And lastly, over to the clean channel of the amplifier, and again, I've got the gain and master set to 12 o'clock, and the EQ is basically set almost straight, except for the treble, which is at about 2 o'clock. Here we go. Let's try a Strat. Over to my Fender American Original 50 Stratocaster on the clean channel, and I've just cranked up the bass and mids, and the treble is down. I've also added the delay thanks to the time delay. Here we go. Not too bad at all. Up goes the gain a little bit more. We'll see if we can get that off clean tone. I'm just going to back the master off a little bit and crank up the mids and bass all the way now. Here we go. It's got this inherent overtone that's really, really bright on the note. Now, some people love that, but it is extremely bright with this particular cabinet. Maybe the best feature on this amplifier is its ability to send an XLR out to a sound card or PA system that sounds great. You have a couple of different toggle switches and options, which I'll show you how I've got it set on screen right now. But overall, this works extremely well, especially if you want to do any type of recording. You can also turn off the cabinet, which I've got turned off right now, allowing me just to hear stuff back through my studio monitors. So here we go. It's bridge pickup on the lead channel, cab emulation. All right, over to the crunch channel. And over to clean. So the recording output option on this is awesome. Thanks for watching, folks. My name's Shane. A massive thanks to Sky Music for the loan of this. If you want to check it out, links to everywhere will be in the description below. I'm going to give you my thoughts about playing this now, and my only other basis for comparison was the Hughes Kettner Tubemeister 20, which was a great little combo. I played that about 3 years before playing this one, and they do sound very different, at least to my ear all this time later. This is inherently very, very bright. You can dial it out by using the mids control in combination with the treble control, but there's, for whatever reason, always this overtone of brightness to it. Now, some people really like that. If you're playing heavy music with active pickups and all that kind of stuff, you're going to get a kick out of this. My favorite channel on this would have to be the crunch channel. It still has a big sort of full sound to it, whereas the lead channel really loses a bit of that low end. It's still there, but it's not quite as prominent in the mid frequencies, but you can kind of scoop and change that thanks to the mids control, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit more sort of 3D projection on the lead channel. But it is what it is. The target audience for this probably isn't an old guy like me. Now, when it comes to the clean channel is a mixed bag. Again, it's still very bright. It always has that overtone of tops on it, but I thought it worked really well, especially with humbuckers, which is where this amplifier shines. I think it sounded best with humbuckers, which is why I've decided to play it the majority of the time. Speaking of the XLR output, that thing's fantastic. If you're going to buy this amplifier and just run it into a desk, without a cabinet or whatever the case may be, just using the speaker to feet, which it probably requires a load, so don't go doing that unless you read the instructions, but having an XLR going directly out into my sound card here sounded really cool. And you can tweak that thanks to all the different settings on the back. Additionally, if you want to run it into a cab, the beauty of a head like this is, because the amp is very, very bright, you could run it into something like an Eminence Texas Heat speaker, for example, and that would give, you know, less tops to the overall tone and more mids and lows, which is pretty cool if you're into that sort of big fat sound. So paired with the right speaker cabinet, I really think you can get a lot out of this. To me, this cabinet is a little bit too bright. In the room versus what you might hear on the recording is probably very different. But just know this amp has this really sort of overtone of high end coming through it the majority of the time. But for the right person and the right style of music, it's still very usable. I actually also like the clean tones with the Strat to some extent as well. Again, if you like something with just a little bit of that edge of brightness. Thanks again for watching, folks. My name's Shane. If you're not subscribed, please do so. Leave a thumbs up. Help me with the algorithm. I've got 30 videos in 30 days. Catch you soon. See ya.